guys, Keith Engel for TGI Sports Talk with my weekly vlog. How are you today? Great, beautiful fall day here in the Northeast. Getting ready to head south for a little Caribbean vacation. We'll be back. I don't know. We'll probably do a vlog from the ship at some point next week. But if not, this will be my final vlog before vacation. And I promise not to take up too much time. Listen, today I want to talk about the NFL, roughing the passer, Tom Brady favoritism. Just stop. Everybody, just stop. There's a couple pieces to this, right? Are there calls in the NFL for quarterback roughing that are not quarterback roughing? Yes, absolutely. Does Tom Brady get favoritism? No. We'll take a look at this here in a little bit, by the way. But let's just talk about the roughing the passer for a minute. Probably some of the calls we saw last week, maybe the Brady call, maybe the call, I think, against against the Chiefs on, on Derek Carr last week. I mean, are they related to the fact that Tua got hurt, got the concussion, protocol was screwed up, and we're going to protect quarterbacks more? I don't know. Teddy Bridgewater went out in the first play of his game. Do we protect quarterbacks too much? We do. So you've got rules in place for protocol and concussion protocol and all this stuff for player safety, which is all players, and I understand it. But are quarterbacks treated differently? Yes, they always have been because they make the money. They're the most least protected, blah, 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 blah. Do we protect them too much? Yes. Does Tom Brady get favoritism? No. I'll show you some numbers that prove that here in a little bit. Are there different rules for running quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, to name a few, than there are for others? Probably, because those guys leave the pocket. So they lose some of that protection. And they may be scrambling around near the pocket and not get the benefit of the doubt that some others do. Are there some ridiculous calls made? Absolutely. But there's ridiculous calls made on pass interference and holding and pretty much any rule violation you can think of. There's mistakes made week in and week out, game in and game out. The fact of the matter is, for those who think roughing the passer penalties are out of control, through week 5, there have been 29 roughing penalties called this season. Through week 5 last year, there was 54. 41 in 2020 and 59 in 2010. All right. Numbers are down. They're not up. We're not calling it more. So just relax, first of all. Yes, I agree. There are some ridiculous calls. And was the penalty on Brady last week a roughing? I guess it could be looked at either way. Was the Derek Carr penalty roughing? I would say no. Maybe no to the Brady too, but do you think he gets the benefit of the doubt more than others? I'll show you some numbers again in a second that say no. And if you think that's why you lose games, then here's the biggest problem you have. Stop putting yourself in a position to lose games by bad calls by referees or umpires in baseball, whatever sport we're talking about. You put yourself in a position, I've talked about this 100 times. I have complained about referees' calls against my team, which Tom Brady played for 20 years. I have never, and you can look at it, it's documented in 3 years worth of these shows. You can talk to anybody that I sit and watch football with for hours upon hours on Sunday afternoons. I have never blamed referees' calls for losing a game or a Super Bowl. There are certainly instances where if I was of a mind to do it, I would or could have done it. I don't believe in it. Don't put yourself in a position to get screwed. Again, I don't like some of the calls that are made. I don't like some of the pass interference calls that are made. You can't put your hands on a wide receiver half the time. And it all depends on who the officials are. Can't put your hands on a quarterback. Or there's a Brady rule. Because it got put in after he had a season-ending injury, 2008. Or 9. Whatever year that was. Might have been 9. You can't attack a guy below the knees or below the waist. And again, it makes it hard to target for the quarterback between his shoulders and his knees is not that big. And guys are moving around. And it's not just the quarterbacks. It's all of this, blows to the head where wide receivers or running backs or quarterbacks or wherever they are, they're moving around. That's a moving target. You launch yourself at a guy. Now your head needs to be up. I agree. Can't be a missile. But how are you supposed to know where that guy's going to be as he starts to slide or he starts to get tackled by other guys? Some of these calls in college is even worse. But let's stick with the quarterbacks again. Again, is it out of control? Is there too much of it? No, it's down. I mean, it's almost 50%, guys. I don't math very well, but that's pretty close to 50%. What can be done to fix it? Maybe penalties. You want to put penalties into review? Personal fouls maybe should be part of the review process. Listen, I'm not a big fan of instant replay to begin with. These games can go too long. But maybe some of these things need to be in there. Maybe you don't make the rules, loosen the rules a little bit. I don't want quarterback to be sitting ducks, but I think they need to be football players too. So are there calls made on Tom Brady that could be made by others? I'm sorry, what I totally lost what I was talking about there. Totally lost track of what I was saying there. Sorry. Do quarterbacks need to play like other football players? They should be forced to do so, yes, within limits. We already have rules to protect them. They slide, you can't hit them, blah, 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 blah. Which, by the way, gives the running quarterbacks an advantage because you don't know whether they're going to slide or not. Do we need to maybe put these into instant replay, as I started to say before? Possibly, if you want to see longer games, yes. Do we need to start treating running quarterbacks the same way that we treat other quarterbacks or vice versa? Yes. But again, the penalties are down. What other ways are there to fix this except unless you better educate officials, use replay to help alleviate egregious calls. And again, you would only replay the ones that are called, not the ones you think should be called. But again, that's just going to lengthen games, and I don't want to see that. Again, I guess treat them like everybody else. And officials are human; they're going to make mistakes. I'm sure this week there was a couple of calls that maybe were a little shaky because of the Tua injury, and it's got referees a little gun shy maybe. But to revisit this thing about Brady and favoritism, just stop. I've been listening to this nonsense. And listen, I've been hard on Tom Brady this year because of his issues with sitting out in training camp. And then he was going to take Wednesdays off. And I think he's hurt his team as far as his focus. I've been very hard on Tom Brady, but I've spent 20 plus years defending him against nonsensical haters like some of you. And I hope you'll speak up on this vlog, because I'd love to hear you rant about Brady. And please make sure you watch it. A little late to tell you. Make sure you watch this and just don't comment on the title and description of this vlog. And then educate yourself a little bit before you reach out and say, you're wrong, Brady this, Brady's a baby, Brady this, Brady kicked the guy, blah, blah, blah. Brady gets all the calls. Brady doesn't get all the calls. The NFL's been after Tom Brady for years. They've been after the Patriots since 2001. They've been after Brady since Deflategate. Let me show you a little stat here. These are the roughing penalties, roughing the passer penalties since 2002 with some of the top quarterbacks in football. Brady's played 235 games. He's had 27 only, guys, in 235 games. That's one like every 9 games. 8 games. I can't do, again, don't ask me to do math. 8.5 games. Aaron Rodgers, 28 and 216. Fairly close. Patrick Mahomes, 20 and 79 games. That's one every 3.5 games, guys. Less than that. Brady's at what? I say 1 out of 9. Josh Allen, 24 and 73 games. That's 1 out of every 3 games. What am I missing here? Where's Tom Brady's favoritism here? Now you're going to tell me, oh, it's not so much how many times, it's when they call it. I'm tired of you conspiracy nut jobs who think that Tom Brady gets favored. The Patriots get favored by the NFL. It's nonsense. Roger Goodell and the NFL been after Tom Brady and the Patriots for the better part of 2 decades. To think they're getting favored, I love all the pictures every year. We don't see them now because the Patriots aren't doing as well, right? Because Tom Brady's in Tampa Bay, so we have to have the pictures of the officials. As part of the New England. I'm sorry, it was part of the New England team photo. Now they're part of the Buccaneers team photo. You guys are just whiners and criers. You talk about Tom Brady being a whiner, who's only one of the toughest guys who ever played the game. Misses no games except when he ripped his knee up on a low hit by Pollard in the year that I mentioned before. But he's a whiner and a crier. No, he's a competitor. And you guys who complain about Tom Brady, you're the whiners. You're the criers. I just showed you numbers that say you're wrong about Tom Brady getting preferential treatment. You want to talk about when it happens? Well, then don't rough the quarterback with 2 minutes left in the game. I don't know what to tell you. Stop putting yourself in a position to get beat by referees' calls, good or bad. Coach your team up a little bit better so they don't get penalties at big moments of a football game. God, I'm tired of this nonsense. Patriots aren't winning now. They'll win again. Never. And we've lost some tough games on some tough calls, guys. You remember the ones that we won because of it. You don't remember the ones that Tom Brady won because of it. You don't remember the ones that get lost on horrendous calls, which I don't complain about. You don't deserve to win if you've put yourself in a position to lose by a referee's call. You have not played well enough. You've not coached well enough. In every sport. So you Brady haters, you Patriot haters, please speak up. Please tell me I'm wrong, because you guys are the whiners. You guys are the criers. You got to hate, and you hate guys you shouldn't hate. Don't go after the Ray Lewises of the world, right? Let's not go after double murderers. Let's go after Tom Brady because he lets bear out of a football. He wants to win so bad he screams and yells at referees and players and teammates and breaks iPads, whatever. Get over it. Get better. And you won't lose to these guys anymore. Keith Engel, TGI Sports Talk. I'll see you from the Caribbean.